Identity level reinforcement is where neuroscience and philosophy stop circling each other and finally shake hands. A belief that migrates into identity stops being a casual tenant in the mind. It becomes structural. The brain treats it less like a thought and more like a support beam, something that holds the rest of the inner architecture upright. Remove it carelessly, and the system anticipates collapse. This shift begins when a belief becomes self relevant. Once that happens, it no longer floats in abstract cognitive space. It plugs directly into the machinery that maintains coherence, continuity and meaning. At the center of this process sits the medial prefrontal cortex, the region most active when you think about me, heavily involved in self evaluation and narrative identity, responsible for linking beliefs to values, roles, and social meaning, a hub that decides what counts as personally significant. When a belief is tagged by the medial prefrontal cortex, it gains social status. It's no longer just an idea you hold. It becomes part of the model the brain uses to predict your own behavior and the behavior of others. The belief helps answer the question, what kind of person am I? And that question is metabolically sacred. Once tagged as self-relevant, the belief receives preferential biological treatment. Metabolic resources are routed toward it. Dopamine reinforces its activation patterns. Glutamate drives repeated firing. Emotional system braided into memory. The hippocampus anchored into personal history. The amygdala supplies emotional weight. The belief becomes multi-embedded cognitive, emotional, autobiographical, and social all at once. That braiding is what gives identity level beliefs their durability. They activate across multiple brain networks simultaneously. Weakening one pathway doesn't dismantle the whole structure. Emotional memory keeps them vivid. Social context continuously reactivates them. Autobiographical recall keeps rehearsing them. The brain, meanwhile, is deeply allergic to internal instability. It runs on prediction, and prediction hates surprises. Identity level beliefs reduce prediction error by providing a stable lens through which the world makes sense. Abandoning such a belief creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is metabolically expensive. From the brain's perspective, clinging to a flawed belief can feel safer than dissolving coherence. This is why challenges to identity don't feel intellectual, they feel physical. When an identity belief is threatened, the anterior cingulate cortex detects conflict and error. The insula generates visceral discomfort. Stress responses may activate even without external danger. Emotional arousal increases. Defense reasoning kicks in automatically. The brain interprets these challenges as system level risk. To protect stability, it might double down, strengthening the very circuit under scrutiny. What looks like stubbornness from the outside is often neural self-defense from the inside. This explains the gravitational pull of identity-based ideas, political loyalties, religious conventions, personal narratives, long-standing habits, even stories about one's own limitation. Letting go doesn't just mean changing a thought; it means revising the internal model that predicts who you are in the world. Rewiring at this level requires substitution, not erasure. Ignoring the belief alone isn't enough. The medial prefrontal cortex wants continuity. It asks, quietly but insistently, if this belief retires, what holds the structure together now? Successful change usually arrives when a new identity narrative begins forming, emotional experiences support the new story, social feedback reinforces the shift, prediction improves rather than destabilize, the new belief reduces uncertainty The new belief reduces uncertainty better than all the old one. Oh my god. The new belief reduces uncertainty better than the old one. This is why major identity shifts often follow life. This is why major identity shifts often follow life transitions, prolonged reflection, or accumulated evidence rather than single arguments. The brain waits until an alternative structure proves itself sturdy enough to bear weight. The weird beauty of this corner of neuroscience is that it demystifies the self without diminishing it. The self is not a singular essence, it's a negotiated truth among neural systems, with beliefs acting as infrastructure. And infrastructure, however solid, can be rebuilt slowly, deliberately, when a better blueprint appears. Identity defends beliefs because beliefs guide prediction. Prediction guides survival. And survival, in the end, is the brain's most important job.